The historic Shultz Farm consists of more than 600 acres along the south-facing northern bluffs of the Kansas River. Only a few miles from the city of Lawrence, Kansas, homes on the Shultz Farm overlook scenic vistas of the University of Kansas, as well as splendid views of native prairie and wildlife preserve. Evidence of the indigenous Kansas Indians, who are memorialized on the state capitol building in Topeka, are found throughout the Shultz Farm. The high bluffs along the rim of the Kansas River Valley still offer panoramic views. The Shultz Farm is steeped in early Kansas history. Joseph Wellington Shultz moved to Lawrence in 1862. Joseph's family survived Quantrill's raid on Lawrence. Raiders set fire to their home. The firstborn child was saved by being hidden in a rolled-up rug. As soon as the bushwhackers were gone, Joseph and his neighbors put out the fire and retrieved the baby. Although they were able to save the home, the baby's rocking crib suffered some damage. That same crib was used by each succeeding generation.
The crib was in the house, and some of the rungs were burnt, and they never changed them.
The first Shultz to bear the name Reynolds was Joseph Shultz's son. In addition to farming, this first Ren Shultz owned the Kaw Valley Creamery in Lawrence and supplied the community with milk and dairy products. While the first Ren Shultz was busy with the creamery, the second Ren Shultz took over the farming operations and developed a lucrative market in rye straw. Using equipment he modified, he provided the family with a good income. This second Ren Shultz was the father of Ren Shultz III.
We raised rye straw originally for horse collars.
Straw bales used to be used for horse collar. They'd load on the wagons and take it down to Midland and load it in freight cars.
Betty was the first child of the second Ren Shultz. Ren III was born 16 months later. Ren III was grown, married, and had already had his first child when he was called to serve in World War II. Rather than be drafted, he joined the Marines. He served proudly and bravely until he was seriously injured on Saipan.
A guy with the name of Dewey Rivet was right next to me. He said, "Are you hurt, Schultz?" And I said, "Well, I'm hit." And so I tried to move my arm. I thought it was gone because it just felt like it was.
What did I?
And it moved, so I knew I was all right. And so then I tried to move my foot. I hollered at the Corman, and I said, "I'm going home." That's all I could think of. I'm going home.
After healing from his wounds, Ren returned and began a transformation of the family farm, from rye straw to a very successful hog operation. Active in the Republican Party, Ren's first wife, Donna, convinced Ren in 1964 that he should challenge the current state senator from their district in the next election. As a result of that election, Ren became known as Landslide Schultz.
I became landslide because I didn't have enough votes. And we tied. We tied even Steven.
We voted for Ren, my sister and I. And a friend of mine that was going to be out of town, she voted out of state. If one of the three of us had not voted, he wouldn't have got it.
Ren went on to serve another term as state senator and then successfully ran for lieutenant governor of Kansas in 1972. After winning that third election, Ren was president of the Kansas Senate before running for governor in the next election. Ren, unfortunately, lost the governor's race and soon after that lost his beloved wife, Donna. He met his second wife, Judy, in Arizona.
I just fell in love with Kansas. I liked his family. They're just real nice people. I just loved everybody that I met in Kansas. I liked the weather. I thought it was great. It's just laid back and people are just so nice here.
In 1991, Ren and Judy sold all but 35 acres to various parties involved in Pines International, a company located less than 2 miles away at Midland Corners. The Shultzes continued to own the century-old farmhouse and the large pond that had become a memorable part of the Shultz family for 3 generations.
But that pond's been there a long time. Oh no, we had diving board and all. It was a popular place on Sundays because it's the only place around you could go swimming, and had mud fights.
Ren passed away in 1999. Judy continued to live in the family home until 2002, when she sold the home and pond to Pines, allowing the company to complete the acquisition of community property and move forward on its plans